Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks, and starting with the S&P, and then we'll have a look at the NASDAQ. And just starting with the S&P on the weekly chart here, we've got two counts, as you may know, and they're both bullish, which is nice. So we have a situation where we've got wave 4 to wave 5 up here, and we can look at it as 1 and 2 here, and then going for a strong third wave all the way up here, and that would be 1 and 2, and then going up for the third wave and the fourth and the fifth to make the third. The other count is that we squish and squash all this first leg up here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and call it wave 1. So let's just have a look at this one first. So this one here would be this one here. So the move up from August, looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. As I mentioned before, wave 3 is the shortest. So that means that this wave 5 here really needs to be shorter than wave 3 here. And that means that it needs to stay under this red line here roughly. Now you'll need to check that on the cash market and so on. So yeah, that's that count there. And if this is breached, or looks like it's going to be breached, then we'll be switching, get the brain cells working early Monday morning. Then we'll be looking at this count here, which same August low here, but looking at it in terms of well, wave 1 here, 2 here, going all the way up for 3 here and 4, and then up for 5 in that up for 5 here. So that means that this wave 2 to 3 here will have the extension in it, which is quite common for stocks. So in that case, we'll look at this as 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2, and then going up into the third wave here, the fourth wave and the fifth wave here for the third wave, the fourth wave and the fifth wave, wherever that may be. Pay no attention to the time or the price up here. This is just a rough mud map, but it does serve us well in terms of looking at this here. So this will be sort of interesting, because the thing here is that we should now see the market sort of move along quite strongly, because in Elliott terms we've got the third wave here, the intermediate wave here, and then we've got the minor wave here, and then we've got the minute wave here. So we've got the third of the third of the third, and now the third again here. So we should see the market move, you know, quite strongly in this leg here. So that will be one way to sort of verify if this count is correct. So anyway, that's that. So we'll just, you know, so basically when we go and look at the other counts will either have this, will either have wave 2 here, or we'll have wave 4 here. That will be the difference, okay? So if we go to this particular count here, it'll have 2 and 4 here. So it's accommodating both counts, 1 and 3 and 2 and 4. A little bit complicated, but you need to think that out a bit. Our main focus is working up here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for 1 and 2. And then we've got this 1 and 2. And where we left on Friday, we were looking for this wave 2 low to come into play here. So that came in and started to turn up. We've seen some stocks like Netflix was up over 10%, and we see stocks struggling like Tesla, which has got further downside. Microsoft's got a little bit of upside, then further downside. So there's a bit of a mixed bunch there, but generally speaking, Apple and Meta's just about ready to turn. Still got another little low to make in there, but yeah, Amazon and Apple and those big tech stocks are doing quite well, but that's sort of where we are at this point. So let's just go to the intraday further in here and just pick it up from this little area here. So from 20 down into 1. And picking it up from this blue wave 2 here that we're just looking at. So we've got, I'll just go back a bit further here. Well, this will be 2 or 4 down here, right? And then we've got this 1 and 2 here. And then we've been counting up here last week for 1 and a nice little ABC for 2. Now, one of the things here is that this is quite clearly a corrective pattern here. I suppose you could squeeze 5 waves out of it with this last little sharp drop here. I guess that's possible. But yeah, everything in all, we should have this as 1 and 2. I can look at this as 1 and 2 here because we got 5 waves here, or I could put this over to here and have wave 1 over here, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 going up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then an ABC, and then up again at that point. So we're still in these, wave 3s here, really sort of narrowing that down at that point. Yeah, so I think we were in about somewhere in here. I think we're somewhere here on the Friday when we made the video, at least anyway. So we've got the turn, and then the next step was getting support on the 58.50 to get a long trade there. So there was a few different ways we talked about all of this and so on. But we can just go into the 100 area here and have a look at this here again, this point. So in this case, we've just got this 1 here and 2 here, and 1 and 2 and 3 here, and 4. So it'd be nice to take that top out here and then have an ABC here. So this is one way of looking at it. I could take this wave 1 here and put it over here as well, because we've got a nice little 5-wave structure here as well. So yeah, that's where we are. So we should just generally be, continuing to push up to the upside in all of that. And then we come over to the NASDAQ, and this is a daily chart. Yep. And we can look at this in 2 ways as well. We could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then building up to the 3rd wave here. We could also look at it the other way. We could put wave 1 over here and wave 2 over here, and this one here and this one here, and so on, 3 and 4 here and 5 here to make this wave 1 here. So there's 2 different ways to view all this as well. But all we've been doing is really understanding both of those counts and just understanding sort of where we are within this internal structure here, counting up here. So we'll just continue to do that. We're still seeing impulse waves to the upside, so that means that we need to stay long in the market. So from the day here, we can go to the intraday here. So we could look at this low here as 2 or 4. That's just below the 20,000 here as 2 or 4. And we've been, same as the S&P, we've been counting up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here. One of the things that I was mentioning last week was getting support on top of 100, 200 and 300 on top of this 300 here, because it's a small group 1, because in a way it couldn't find support over here for it, and trading above a level doesn't mean that it's support. We look for tested support, so it traded above, and when it did come back it couldn't find support, so now it's having another go at it, and it's a little bit tough for it to get it. It hasn't got it here, it got rejected here, and now it's having another crack at this. So really the long trade would be above that little wave 1 and 2 in here. I think I've got this on 1000, so we'll just go in and have a bit of a look at this, because we would have been talking about this as well. So so yeah, so here's quite easy to count 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. So I could go 1 and 2 here. Now all this across here is a little bit messy. Now I can label it, but I must say that I would be sort of moving into the guessing game at that point. I could put wave 1 over here as well. So I'm just going to copy that and do that. I won't go into the reason. Well, we can count the S&P like that. That's probably the safest way for me to say it, rather than showing you here. And well, yeah, I could look at this as 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, and then an ABC for the fourth wave here, and then up for the fifth wave. So there's a couple of different ways to, you could count it till the cows come home, but it's not all we need to see. All we need to see is some sort of, new high being made, really. That's all. We've got that support there. Now we just need to see, market's got to prove to us that it's there. It could pull back to the 61.8 from here to, from this top to the bottom here. So just, give it some space and understand that. But generally speaking, everything's, once again, this is, well, I could count this as 5 waves too. I could go 1 and 2 and 3 to here, 4 to here, and 5 to here. But the rest of the markets are pointing up, so we'll play it that way. That's the indices. So buy new highs. That's the step forward. We come over to Apple, and Apple, we can pretty clearly count this one as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and going up for 3 here. I could go the other way. I could put wave 1 here and 2 here, and then wave 3 here and 4 here and 5 here, but it looks a little bit silly. So I'll just, I just think we need to stay with the trend until proven otherwise. It's kind of that simple in a way. So we do have this as another pattern here as well, which Alessio has got as well. So that makes a little bit more sense too, looking at it like that. But kind of, yeah, I don't know. It's sort of, it brings the timing okay. If the other count is correct, then that's okay. I mean, getting support on top of the 30 here, that's the top of group 1 of 200. So that's really what that's all about as well, trying to find support there. And basically it's got it. So once it makes a new high here, then it's proven that that's been tested. It's a tested support, and then we'll look at the next number, which is 5 up here. So that said, I'll just go into the intraday here, and looking at this as 1 and 2 over here, and then 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here. So we've made a little move to the upside there. So in a way, as I just mentioned, it was this number here that we're testing, that it was testing. So it's tested it, but now we need to make a new high above here. Now I have this little spike here. I'm not that sure if I should put this over here or here. There's a few different ways to look at this as well. So I'm not really going to label this here just yet. It does look corrective here. We should be taking out this top, sitting on the number 5 here, so between 30 and 40. The Fibonacci numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. So 5 is the second strongest number. So it's going to have problems here finding support, because this is what this was all about, really trying to find, establish the number 5 at this price point as support, which it couldn't do, and also had trouble within group 2 as well. But it's building itself now, so we'll just stay with that. And then we come over to Amazon. We could do the same again with Amazon. We can have this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. We could do that, or we could have it the other way around. I think I might have this on the 20k actually, save me doing that. So we could have it this way here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up for 1 and 2. So these two counts are still in play until proven otherwise. But in the meantime, it's not going to haunt us, because we should be pushing up, Yeah, so that's it really. And then we can just go into the intraday here, of course, and have a look at this here. So yeah, there's 1 and 2 here. We got to trade in really early here for this, and we've survived wave 2, and things are pushing up quite nice. I could also label this in a couple of different ways as well. I won't bother about it just yet. I'll just see the pattern that it creates at the 190 here. So we've got the arrival so far, so just give it some time here. There will be, the first high above the level, there'll be some sort of corrective pattern, and then we'll push up. So I don't know if I need to put wave 1 and 2 over to here, or I build wave 1 from here and look at this. I could even put it in here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could, so I can see that I can do it in different ways. So I'm not that fussed with it yet. It doesn't really matter. We'll just give it a session. Monday should see, hopefully see, more pattern here to establish that support on the 90. So that's looking good. And then we come over to Nvidia, and with Nvidia here, we can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and going up for wave 5 up here. And in that case, we can look at this from 4 to 5 here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So last week we were looking for Friday. Last week we counted this up as 5 waves, looking for a corrective pattern here. And now we could either put wave 1 here or over here as well for this. So we should be pushing up on this. This here looks corrective. Taking this little top out here would also make it corrective as well. Safer trade would be on the 140 though. Let's just go in a bit closer and have a look at this. Yeah, I think we were here on Friday, weren't we? And we were looking for a little bit more low, and then we've got that push up, or we had that, or I can't remember. Doesn't matter. But yeah, so we could look at it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here as well. So it can be an ABC as well. So that means that, but if we took this top out here, then that would remove that. So that's where we are with Nvidia. So really just hold long. And this market here, Meta here, we've got 1 and 2 on the aftermarket. This drop lower here. Otherwise, I'd like to call this up, count this completely different. But the cash market, the after hours market brought this move down here below these lows here for this. So as 1, 2, 3, 4 here. I still think we've got this. I was hoping this would turn a little bit impulsive here as the A, the B and the C wave down here, but this is still corrective. So we've got another little move here before we move up, but we still got this leg here for this. And even though I've got wave 1 up here, I could also put this here as well as wave 1 here, and this as wave 1 here. So there's different ways to look at it. But like I said, the good news is that they're both on the same track, which is good. So we're in this particular correction here. Look at, we had this, we had 2 counts. We had this one here, and we had another one moving down here. So look, this could be impulsive in some way or another, but it's more dominant on the corrective side with overlapping wave structures. So I think it's good to look at this here as, count this down as 5 as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, probably into the 570 sort of area there before heading up. If it dropped below the 72 here and then found support on the 72 here, you could get a bit cocky and have a go at that point. A small position here and then another small position here for this. So we should end up at the 650 up here for that. So building in a few small positions here to look to build further positions up here would be a nice idea. So that's that. And then we've got Netflix here. So yeah, I've been looking at this. It's possible to count this as 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 to this point here. Then an A wave and the A, the B, and the C wave here, because it's a bit difficult to get what's the name over here. But we've had this over here, and it's probably the right place. And so now we need to sort of push up to the 800, where it'll also consolidate there as well. And where are we here? Just, I don't know what I've updated here. I'll just have a look. That one's not updated. That's very old. That's okay. Let me just go to 1,000 here. So yeah, it'll be something like this here. It's a bit hard to see it on the intraday here. So if I just go to 100 here, it's still quite difficult to see. I think we were in down here somewhere, weren't we? We were looking for wave 2 low. I was expecting it to come down a bit further, but obviously some announcement hit it, and that's that. It's a bit difficult to see in here. It's a bit easier to see on this platform here. Just let me get this into the frame here. So this is a 15-minute chart, and this is it here. So we can see that we've got this spike up here as 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here for the third wave, and the fourth and the fifth. So I don't want to go chasing it. Yeah, but it will go higher, and it will spend time at the 800. So that will be a bit of a trap there. And you're getting in late. All the latecomers will be getting in here, so it's going to be quite time consuming probably in wave 4 here when that arrives. So if you bought here, you would only end up in the red a little bit later, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Yeah, a bit unfortunate that, because we were long in that market. Still, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Alphabet here, it's got a bit of a different count, this one, because it's had this big bear market down here, but basically we're trying to look at it as wave 1 here and 2 here and 1 here and 2 here. Now, because of this big move down here, it's possible that this can be an A wave here and a B wave here. I get it. This little move I've got going up here is wave 1. Look, I can count it as impulsive. It's sort of okay-ish, but it's not solid. So we want that 165. So we revert to the trading level. So 150, 165, 72, and 80 is all. This is all group 2, and we're trying to find support in this group 2. And support really is finding the high and then going long from that point, and then we sort of over it to this point. We can bring it to here. We could probably bring it to here, but we'll get a fresh high over here for this. I'll just see. We've got this on the 100, I think. So a little bit different here, I think, but yeah. Oh no, same. So yeah, the wave 1 up here is okay-ish. That's good, and I do see this little move up here, which is quite nice, really. So that's probably the start of it. So and this accumulation is probably up for 1 and back for 2, and then up for 1 and ABC for 2 here. So we'll see a 3, 4, 5 up here for the third, the fourth, and the fifth here, and then some sort of ABC pattern, and then up. So you should be able to look like that. So if you want to work that, it'll be in there somewhere. But in a way, all you're really looking for is just to eyeball it off. You're looking for the first high above the level, the 65. Something reasonable, something to match these dudes over here, some move here, and then a pullback, and then that's your trigger price point at that point. So you just got to kind of eyeball it off to being support. And then we come over to Microsoft, and I'd like to go long in this, as I mentioned before, because we've got the turn, and I can see that it needs to go up and all the rest of it, but it can come down at this point. This here, a little bit odd here, but this A wave here can count as 5 waves, but still it does leave the situation as an A and a B and a C wave here. The only bullish way I could look at it is putting wave 1 here with an expanded flat, an A and a B and a C here, and try to get 5 waves out of this, which is kind of doable to a point. So it's possible, but because of the corrective count in here also, I don't want to do battle with that. I want better odds. So the top and the bottom here, this is the 61.8% at the top of group 1. So if we've got a classic trading levels pattern on group 1, then we'll go long at that point. That's the point that I would be wrong, and we can be long. Okay, so with Tesla here as well, as I mentioned before, this move down here, we can look at it in a couple of different ways. We could put wave A here and wave B over here for this and come up here further. That's possible. We could also bring it over here and look at this as, further to come down. I mean, it is drifting along here quite a lot here, so this wave 4 really needs to go over here for this, and because I've got this clear 1 2 3 4 5 here, so this has probably got to go over here with this here. I mean, it kind of doesn't matter in a way that it's either there are either wave 4s or a wave B over here, and we still got to get more downside, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't have a long trade here. We don't have an impulse wave off the low here or anything like that. So we're just not. This is not for us at the moment. And then we come to Bitcoin. There's a couple of ways that we could count this. We talked about later last week, and one of them is from the low here of 1 and 2, and then 1 2 3 4 5 for the third wave, the fourth wave, and then 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here in line with the NASDAQ and stuff, and going up here for wave 5 up here. Will it reach 100,000 in this point, in this mark here? Maybe, maybe not. But that would be the count there. So we could also just put in a little wave 1 at this point here and a wave 2 there. Also, I might just make them a little bit smaller so they're not so cumbersome. And this one here. So yeah, a little 1 and 2, 1 2. We could also do it the same as what we're doing with the S&P and the NASDAQ. So this is up for 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for 1, and then come back for 2, and then go up for 3, 4, 5. So this would be wave 1 over here for that. So that's possible. But the main point here is that this is a good time to hodl, because just to build, without leverage, of course, because we know that this move here is corrective. Now, the worst case scenario, this could get a bit bigger. It could end up being that this is some sort of first leg, second leg, and third leg down here, that type of thing. But it's not in line with the other markets at this point in time. So need to leave it like this. So there's this way of counting it: 1 2 3 4 5 up here for 1 and 2. The other way to count this here is a little bit different. That's counting it as here from the low down here, counting this is blue wave 1 here, because in the last chart we had it over here, I think, or here. So this one here as 1 2 3 4 5 for 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 5 here for the third wave and the fourth wave here. So this plays out a little bit differently. And I do have a count on the NASDAQ for this as well. So from this low here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and going up for 3, 4, 5 for third, going up for the third wave here, then the fourth and the fifth. So I do have a count for the US indices that would suit this as well. It's just something else that I'm working on in the background. And I have to say, because I understand the trading levels a little bit, then this one here, all of this makes this particular count makes sense to me here, because I know when I've got this sort of correction here, which is a huge accumulation process, by the way, and you can see the inflows into BlackRock and a few of the others as well now coming in. Yeah, the way that this would push up here, it'll obviously do a dance at the 80 here before pushing up higher. But just the point of hitting 100, coming back and finding this as support here, and this may not come back this low either. It'll depend on what happens here, but somewhere into these tops here would be sort of logical, and then 5, and then the ABC, and then up again, and then this is, this will just double from here to here. I mean, everybody that's thinking it's going to go to the moon and all the rest of it, it will, but it will just take much longer than they expect it to, and it'll be something like this here, But this pattern over here is really good because what it does, it gives support now all the way through for 65. So no matter what happens here, this 65 level here will become the lowest point that it will come back to, which is, you know, roughly speaking, which is really good to know. And I've seen it over and over, time and time again. I've seen, you know, because we get this pattern in group 2 here, you know, 65, 72 and 80 here, basically group 2 if you will, another way to look at it before getting to the next main level. So yeah, I think that this is even, you know, this whole 6 months here, even though it was torture for the little Bitcoiners, for the newbies, it's actually a really good thing because it's going to be very supportive for the market later on over here. Alrighty, enjoy the week ahead. Cheers.